Hi guys. It's Andrea
and Robbie, and this is Grab Your Pitchforks.
Yee episode 3? Episode 3. I should have
wow, dude.
That would have been a good rhyme if I would have remembered.
3.
Is it 3?
It is 3.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. We're getting them out there.
Yeah, we're doing it. And we're trying to do this like once a week, but we had to take a couple weeks off because I had surgery and I'm all better now.
Yeah.
So here we go.
I think we mentioned it in the last one, maybe. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but yeah, she had her spine all done up.
My tailbone.
Her tailbone.
Yeah, which is never fun.
Tailbones are weird.
Dude, you'd be surprised how much you really use your tailbone.
Yeah.
For everything.
Yeah. Mine was like when I was 3 and I was run over by a truck.
What?
Yeah. You knew this about me. You for sure knew that.
Actually, it's like slowly coming back into my brain.
Well, yeah, my pelvis was I was 3, and it was like a Ford Bronco, so it was like a big vehicle, and it crushed my pelvis, and then I think it either fractured my tailbone or broke it off or something.
Damn.
Something like that, but. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, pelvises are important.
They really are.
They really are. You need them for a lot of stuff.
I took for granted just sitting comfortably.
Took for granted.
And laying down.
Yeah.
So, I can sit again.
That's
comfortably.
Good. That's good. You look comfortable.
I feel it.
You have good posture.
Got back to yoga today.
That's good. I need to adjust my posture.
Yeah.
Creaky chair
today on the sode.
So we just got done with the dang holidays.
Well,
there's the thing about Thanksgiving though is that it's 2 holidays. It's Thanksgiving and then it's Black Friday.
Oh,
spend y'all's money.
Yeah, dude.
Which
I actually did.
If you went you did it?
Bought something for me.
Nice. Good for you.
Yeah.
So there's so many, it's funny how it is literally a holiday. People will camp outside of places or go at 3 a.m.
Pretty gross.
It's taken even sometimes more seriously than Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I thought it was just an American thing, but it's pretty much every Western place that American products are sold.
Oh yeah, Amazon.
Yeah, so pretty much everywhere.
Anyone.
And yeah, it's
but they don't do it in Canada.
Oh really? That's weird. It's also apparently Black Friday isn't as much as a thing. It's it's the better deals are actually Cyber Monday and actually going out and buying stuff on Black Friday is supposed to be actually less of a cheap way of doing it because there's better deals for different things. There's good deals, but you can get everything online, everything.
Yeah, but it's we shouldn't be doing that.
Why?
We should be buying locally.
What do you mean? You think people are going to local? They're going to Walmart and Target.
I know, and it's not great.
Yeah, don't. That's the places.
The
places with the freaking deals.
All I'm saying is that's not good.
It's American.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, it is pretty stupid. That's why I don't do it, dude. I try not to leave the house.
Say no to Black Friday.
I made money. I worked on Friday, so you did too.
I did.
Yeah, so we made money.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, anti-establishment, dude. And then Thanksgiving, I made some FUD. Did you make FUD?
I made food the weekend before we went to Friendsgiving. And there was a lot of food.
Dope.
And I made green bean casserole. I ate that again on Thanksgiving because I made a double batch.
Nice. I did really good this year on not just trying to fucking kill myself with food.
That's good.
Yeah. most years you get to, like, the literal point. I didn't have any pie, I just realized. I had no pie at all, which is fine. But, like, you know, usually it's, like, it's not even the dinner itself, it's kind of just, like, the eating throughout the day. Because there's always, like, the hot dogs.
Oh, my God.
And the
Deviled
charcuterie.
Eggs. Oh, my
Dude,
gosh.
I want to make, next year, I want to make a charcuterie mound in the shape of a turkey, so it's just cheese and meats. You wouldn't be interested, but, like, for people who do like charcuterie...
You know, I'm trying to eat bird again.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm trying to eat chicken and turkey, so I've been thinking about it for a few months now, so it'll probably happen.
I've been thinking about not eating meat lately, or at least bird, because I got a duck from, like, a Asian market, and it still had its head, and it's, like, eyes, and I had to cut its head off, and it was, like, looking at me, like, judging me, like, and it looked sad. It was a bummer. I was like, dang, I'm still gonna cook you up because I bought you and stuff, and, like, you know, your life it's going to some, you know. You know, when you think about it, all death is just a passing of, like, energy and stuff, you know? It's like, it's just passing its calories on, you know, obviously there's, like, the essence of a soul and stuff, but, you know, when we die, we're just passing our, hopefully, into, like, the earth, you know, and, like, providing nutrients for plants and dirt and stuff. But people freaking bury themselves in disgusting wooden caskets. I know, it's what stupid. Are you doing?
Just, you know, burn me up and spread my ashes or whatever, or just, like,
throw me in the trash. Throw me in the trash.
Well, that would stink.
Throw me in the trash. Let the seagulls eat
Pick
me.
at you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't care. It's funny how much people are just like, do something honorable with me.
It's like, cemeteries are such a waste of land.
Yeah, it's a waste of so many things. And, like,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, it's just a waste of land. It's a place for, like, people to be sad, but then it's also a place for, like, other people to just be like, I'm so dark and brooding, and hanging out at a cemetery. Like, yeah, nothing good happens at cemeteries.
Speaking of my best friend, shout out to Dana. What's up?
Boom, boom.
She lived at a frat here in Eugene, and one summer...
Lived in a frat?
Yeah, it was a summer thing.
You mean a sorority?
Nope. She was the only girl.
Okay.
But it was a summer thing, so it was like, okay, I guess. And the frat was, like, right across the street from a cemetery, so we were always like, let's be cool. We, like, took pictures, like, nighttime pictures. Yeah, it was fun.
When I was a kid, we used to, like, when I was, like, a little kid, I lived pretty close to a cemetery. Dude, I found out recently that last time I went home, the place where I spent most of my time as a child was a giant graveyard. Apparently there's, like, hundreds of bodies buried. There's, like, so where the house that I grew up in is, there's, like, the house, and then there's, like, a lake, but there's, like, a little, what's called a spit, and it's just, like, a little, like, it's just land that kind of just goes out, like a little road, basically, and it's not, like, anything other than that. It's just a little road that you can go out and turn around on. And apparently there's just, that's where I spent all my time as a kid, and it's all just, like, bodies buried there, and you're not allowed to, like, drive down there anymore. Damn. And that's where I, like, swam down there all the time.
Dang.
Yeah. It was,
swimming with the bodies.
Yeah, I might have mentioned this in the first episode. I hope not.
I don't think you did. I don't
think I did either. But yeah, hanging out in graveyards.
That's cool.
Yeah. So.
Aliens!
Aliens. We're doing aliens. Well, yeah, Andrea's doing aliens. Clap.
Yay.
And,
Robbie's been busy.
I was ill-prepared. I'm very ill-prepared for everything in life, but, like, I didn't get the right chair.
Back to Squeaky City.
Yeah.
No, stop.
And it doesn't even squeak, like, when I want it to. It squeaks when I don't.
Very slight movements.
Yeah. We're supposed to both do alien stories, but I've just been busy with stuff and life, and she's been busy too, obviously, but is, like, just a better put together person, so she got her shit done, even though she doesn't even have a fucking spine anymore.
Yeah, it's gone.
Is your tailbone just like metal? It's just like animanium?
No, my tailbone's still there.
Oh.
They extracted glands around my tailbone.
Nice.
And then stitched me back up.
Nice. If they cut your tailbone off, would you want it?
No. Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I'd probably make some jewelry out of it.
There you go.
Something.
There's like this, I think there was like an artist who got a part of his like hip taken off. And then he like...
Fucking artist.
And then he did like something weird with it. He might have eaten it or, I don't know, something fucking crazy.
Okay.
He like grinded it up and like painted with it or some shit like that. Crazy. Yeah. Oh, artists. So, yeah, and also another thing that we should mention is that Andrea believes in aliens, and I don't really believe in aliens. I mean, not to the degree that they're understood, you know? I think there probably is definitely, for sure, life.
Yes.
Like,
I'm not saying I believe in little green men.
They would
That's the typical thing when people think of aliens. I believe in UFOs.
Do you believe in, like, tall and small grays?
I don't know. I don't know if I believe particularly in that.
I don't really believe in that.
I believe there's life.
And I think, like, you know, there's a lot of evidence towards it all, but I don't think it's to the understanding that, like, the wide perception of, like, human understanding is at, like, you know, there's all these stories of people being abducted, you know, there's, was it Betty and Barney Hill, the couple that was, like, abducted, and that's, I think, like, one of the most, like, I guess, like, some of the best evidence, like, towards it, but, I don't know, I feel like there's probably a lot of explanations, and I think if there are aliens, that they're probably, like, a lot different than we'd expect them to be.
I also believe, though, that, like, that the government does cover up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think the government has, like, a lot of interests that, like, we don't realize, you know.
Oh,
like,
I realize it.
Well, I mean, most people don't think about it or realize it because they watch the news and they're just, like, watching, like, everything that's, like, going on in their face. But, like, the government has, like, all the money. Our government and our military have all the money pretty much in the fucking world. And, yeah, so they...
Any country's government's in on it, dude.
I'm sure they're doing crazy, like... Well, I don't know if they're still doing it, but I'm sure they have in the past done, like, crazy, like, spectral, like, ghost adventure type fucking experiments and, like, alien shit, and I'm sure they've tried to find Bigfoot and Moon and all of it, all the stuff that we don't know about, and it's honestly the whole, like, we're better off not knowing. I almost think that's a little bit true, just because, like, you want people to know things so they can be aware, but, like, there's so many people, like, just Trump's president, like, that's like evidence that people just can't be trusted with, like, decisions. Like, there's, like, a lot of people who are going to take information and do the opposite of what you expect with it. And, so...
People are dumb.
Yeah, people would blow it if they knew. And, like, you know... Like, maybe the government, like, found Bigfoot and they're, like, keeping it a secret because if people knew, then... that's probably not true at all.
Wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, probably not true.
People will just fuck anything over no matter what. If it's the government or the public or anything, we just suck as a whole.
Alright.
Anyways.
Okay.
Aliens don't want nothing to do with us.
So, this story is, like, one of the theories. This is an unsolved case. And one of the theories is aliens.
Because it's...
But there's a lot of theories. And I might get into a few of them. I don't know. But basically... I heard this case a little while ago, and it, like, stuck in my brain, and I researched it a little bit more, and kind of blew my mind a little bit. I like it.
You know, I like it. I'm pretty sure every alien case is unsolved, if it has anything to do with aliens, you know. Well, unless people are just like, I think it's aliens, but in reality.
I don't read enough alien cases, but...
We should also do this episode as a... ASMR episode. The aliens just like aliens.
No.
Wouldn't that be creepy?
Yes.
I hope nobody does that. Does like a true crime or like alien podcast ASMR. Oh god. Tingles. I mean, you know,
I
honestly,
could go on about that, but I don't want to.
It wouldn't be good for us, but there's people who might dig it. you know, I'm
people
actually,
love that shit.
Yeah, there's actually, it's, like, geared specifically towards, like, people with autism and stuff, so it's, like, maybe they dig it.
Middle-aged women, you know?
There's some weird ones, though, dude. It's weird on there. Okay, aliens.
I'm getting into it. All right. On January 31st, 1959, 9 friends decided to embark on a hiking journey along the mountainous region of Western Soviet Union.
Oh, this motherfucking story, dude?
Have you heard about it?
I know this story.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm glad you picked this one. I love this one. This is a perfect one, actually.
I know.
This is a perfect one for, like, for both of us because it's, like, I'm familiar with it, and it's a good one for me to be like, you know, I don't think there's aliens because of all this. Anyways, let's get into it.
Okay. So it was a college student team that consisted of hikers from the Ural Polytechnical Institute. The group consisted of men and women who were all experienced climbers, and they were pretty familiar with the wilderness around them. That's like a pretty big fact in this case, that they were all really experienced. They've done this before. But as you can probably guess, they didn't survive.
Everyone died. In crazy ways. It's like a horror movie.
Yeah, woof. So despite a thorough investigation, pictures from a camera found at the crime scene, and journal entries, this case remains unsolved after more than 50 years. So, early morning, January 31st, 1959, a team of 10 headed for the Ural Mountains in the middle of the Soviet Union. The group consisted of the leader, Igor Dyatlov. I'm going to butcher these names, by the way, but I just want to, name them. Alexander Kolevatov, Lyudmila Dubinina, Nikolai Briholz, Yuri Yudin, Kustem Slobodin, Semyon Zolotaryov, Yuri Doroshenko, Zenaida Kolmogorova, and Yuri Krivonshenko.
Also known as the band ABBA.
Yeah.
Crazy names. You think they just call each other just shorter versions of names? Are those easy for them to say?
Well, there's 3 Yuris. Yuri's pretty easy.
They gotta have this one's definitely Koroshenko or whatever.
Krivonshenko.
Yeah, well they just go by their last names.
Yeah,
that must be rough. Okay.
Their last names are doozies.
They're all college students, and most of them are experienced hikers and stuff.
They're all experienced.
Yeah,
the leader, he was 38, and
whoa.
Igor, yeah. So Zenaida had a journal, and on the train to their destination that morning, she wrote her final journal entry. I wonder.
That's a dope ass name there, Zenaida. I like that one.
Yeah. Her final journal entry stated, "I wonder what awaits us on this hike. Will anything new happen?" Ooh, girl.
It is it's like a goddamn horror movie. Yeah.
I mean, and all the pictures, I don't know if you've seen the actual images from the camera.
Oh, yeah.
It is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, it took 2 days of different alternative forms of transportation to reach the base. And once they got there, they eventually traveled to the base of the mountain on skis. And it took them a while, because it's a lot of snow, people. A lot of snow.
This is Soviet Russia. So, it's fucking
cold.
All the snow you could think of.
Yeah. Okay, on January 28th, one of the members became very sick and decided to head back, while the remaining group of 9 continued forward as planned. So there's 9 of them now. Like I mentioned, the pictures, there's, before they all set off, they're all happy and smiling and hugging each other, and it's really good vibes, and it's pretty sad. But, yeah. Pretty sad. They went forward on their journey. Journal entries and pictures from these moments showed nothing out of the ordinary besides lots of snow and just it being really, really cold. On February 1st, they reached the foot of the mountain named Dead Mountain. Come on. Yeah. If this isn't made a movie, yeah, it should be.
I think it was, maybe.
I know there's a book written about it, but yeah. I don't know.
There's a lot.
Okay, so they made it to Dead Mountain. They ascended for most of the day up towards the top, and at the end of the day, they decided to set up camp right, just like 100 meters from the peak of Dead Mountain. So, a few weeks after this, their family doesn't hear from them, and they start to worry, and they end up calling in a team of searchers to go look for them. And so this team goes out, and on February 26th, they find their campsite, and it was obvious that something had gone terribly wrong. It was all torn up, and it was covered in a thin layer of snow. Inside the tent, they said that the belongings of the hikers were neatly placed inside the tent, like nothing had stirred it up. However, it had been slashed open from the inside out with a knife. There were 9 pairs of footprints leading down into the nearby forest, and they said that by what they could see, how the footprints were going downwards, they left like a mild imprint in the snow, which shows that they left in a calm fashion and that they didn't leave in a panic and ran. So they followed the tracks for about half a kilometer until the tracks were completely covered in snow. So they lost the tracks and they continued in that direction. And then under a large cedar tree, they found the remains of an improvised campfire along with 2 frozen corpses, Yuri D and Yuri K.
Yuri D.
Yuri D, Yuri K. So, in all, it took over 2 months for all 9 bodies to be recovered, but these first 2 were found almost naked. They had no boots, no pants, jackets, gloves. Very strange if you're out in the snow and you're walking out in the snow. Because they determined that at the time of their deaths, it would have been negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oof.
The cedar tree next to them showed signs of branches that were broken up to 5 meters high, showing that someone had tried to climb it, maybe trying to locate their team members or their tent, or maybe they were trying to hide from something. We won't know. The next 3 hikers were found scattered around where the tent was from the tree, and they were covered in snow. They were slightly better suited for the cold than the first 2, but not by a lot. And they were found all facing the same direction. And some had sustained minor injuries, but they had all died of hypothermia. Another interesting thing about these victims, they had burn marks all over their skin, which I thought was pretty weird.
Mm-hmm.
The next 4 hikers...
Sounds like they're fucking possessed or
Dude, so weird.
Some sort of crazy cult or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just so eerie because everything was so fine before, you know? And then
they're just hiking and they camp in this Death Mountain. And then I don't want to stumble over your shit or anything because I am familiar with the story, but I don't know if you're going to mention this, but are you going to mention how it's they were kind of told not to go there, or that's a place where you're not supposed to go? Did you read anything about that?
I mean, not really.
Okay. I think I remember reading something about that, how it's
they got the okay to go, but
right.
Most people don't go there.
Yeah, it's a spot where, people just don't go because of, there's a lot of weird legend of monster, a monster or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's
there's Yetis.
Yeah.
There's Yeti legends, and there's a indigenous tribe called the Mansees, which I will also get into.
Okay, all right.
So the last 4 hikers were found at the bottom of a small hill covered by 3 meters of snow. and they were found in the opposite direction of the tent. 3 of them had sustained lethal injuries. 1 had a fractured skull. 2 had a bunch of broken ribs and massive internal bleeding. Local examiners actually compared the injuries to, like, a car crash, or, like, if they had a huge fall and broken their insides. And they were still alive when they sustained the injuries. And they also, like, made it very clear that they couldn't have been caused by another person. Another person couldn't have done these injuries to these people.
Because it was Yetis.
It's freaking Yetis, dude!
Yetis were beating the crap out of them. And the aliens. The aliens and Yetis were teaming up.
It's terrifying. So, 2 had been found with gaping eye sockets.
Whoa!
Yeah, no eyeballs. And 1 without her tongue. So, this was like a big thing in this case, was the woman with the missing tongue. Apparently, she also had like a chunk of her skull missing.
Jesus Christ.
And like her jaw was all deformed.
Dude,
and
imagine.
They the autopsies showed that she had lost her tongue while she was still alive because her stomach was filled with blood. So,
gross. Oh, God. It's like, I was filling my stomach with my own tongue blood. Imagine coming up on all this, you know, like the search party found all this.
I would just pee my pants.
Because they're all frozen solid.
Yeah.
And they're all just like frozen, and they're probably covered in snow a little bit. Or
I
at
saw
least,
pictures of their bodies.
Oh, really?
It's pretty dark.
Did you find a picture of her?
Her face was blurred.
Ugh.
But the other ones weren't.
Yeah. Frozen people look fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird what people look like when they're frozen. Anyways.
So, it's a lot.
Shit's crazy.
Okay. So...
Did they find her tongue? Do you know?
Some reported saying that they found the tongue.
Yeah.
And most don't.
Yeah.
Most say it was just missing.
Yeah.
The last of the 4 had a broken nose and a deformed neck, but had died of hypothermia. Also, interesting little thing, 3 articles of clothing that were found had been tested positive for high amounts of radioactivity. So, like, what is going on here?
Fucking alien spaceships, Soviets.
Let's see here. The case had been discontinued with a super vague conclusion, which read, "The cause of death was an unknown compelling force, which the hikers were unable to overcome." That's the official report.
That's so vague and also so, like, I don't know, it's, like, undescriptive to a point of, like, why would you write that, like, in an official statement? Like, I don't know, you can't come
Russians,
up with, like...
Dude.
Why, yeah.
I don't know.
So that's... Yeah.
That's why
a lot of people.
This case is so like,
it's so weird.
It's so weird to people.
Yeah, a lot of people think that the Soviet Union, like the military, was in on it and covered it up, and like.
There's evidence to show that they did cover things up, though.
Because they're supposed to have. I think they're supposed to. I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing something in there, but like, I think that was supposed to be like a zone or like near a zone or like. I don't know.
For weapons testing?
Yeah, or something like that. It is.
It is close by.
Yeah.
In the Ural Mountains.
Okay, yeah.
And, yeah.
That's pretty, I mean, that's, yeah.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. So, yeah, there's different theories as to what happened to these people, one being extraterrestrials, another being government secret radioactive weapons, one was an avalanche, there's a Yeti, and there's the Mansi tribe. And the Mansis are these people that live near the mountains, and a lot of people thought that this had to be done by them, although that was quickly turned down because they are very peaceful people.
Yeah.
And they just obviously would never do it.
A tribe of Russian people fucking
living in the mountains.
Freezing mountains. Sounds terrifying, but I guess they're peaceful or whatever.
A lot of people thought it was an avalanche that could have done it because the bodies were covered in snow. But if you think about it, they had been missing for like 2 or 3 weeks where it's going to be snowing. So they got covered in snow.
That's crazy.
Also, the tent was covered in snow. And they also thought like it could have been an avalanche because of their internal injuries, some of them.
Yeah.
But avalanche experts came out and they were like, there's no way obviously nothing of this sort, happened here because the tree lines were still intact and it just, there was nothing that came up, back at the lab that said an avalanche had occurred.
Yeah. It's the radioactivity is fucking crazy.
Radioactivity, dude?
What was the name of the tribe again?
Mansi.
Mansi. Oh, okay. Not the Menzies.
No,
okay.
Mansi.
Okay. Menzies, I think, is when you slough off your uterine wall or something like that. I think that's what Menzies is.
Like menstrual?
Yeah. Yeah, it's something.
Weird.
Yeah. Maybe another name for a period. I don't know. Manzi, though. It's Manzi.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, there's no other theories?
Well, so yeah,
science? What does science have to say about all this?
Well, I don't know. Some think the group stumbled upon the USSR testing some sort of mysterious military weapon due to the radioactivity found. And another thing that kind of supports that, but also supports the alien theory, is there were another group of hikers that were camping 50 kilometers from the pass that they were at, and that night they said that they saw strange glowing orbs in the sky above where this all happened, and they could also hear explosions in the distance. So the fact that after they told that, it kind of went from USSR military weapons theory to obviously aliens floating around in the sky. And another weird thing that the government did, which kind of made people think that they were trying to cover up something, was that after this incident happened, they banned access up this area for 3 years after this.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's
nobody
sketchy.
Was allowed to go up there.
Yeah,
and they were doing whatever, we don't know what they were doing there for 3 years.
You know what's crazy? How many frozen dead people there are on Mount Everest and all those other mountains. You just pass them by, people who climb it all the time just pass them by and see them, and there's just no way to move them down or something like that. There's just no good way to get a body back down.
I think you could just roll it down.
You think? Yeah, you just
that probably cause an avalanche or something. I don't know.
There's they have names for all of them. They're not sure if it's I think there's even a family up there too, a mom, a dad, and a kid or something. But
they're letting children climb this mountain?
I don't know if you're a freaking idiot outdoorsman who's just I can bear any elements. I've done Everest 5 times alone or some shit like that. But imagine being the guy who died the farthest from the base, or the closest to base camp. Just only got a mile up and then died.
He was not prepared.
He was not prepared at all. He's just drunk or something. Okay.
Basically this is it. It's just it's unknown. But another thing with the aliens is the last picture on the film roll received from the camera that was found at the scene was of a light blurry orb shape, and many people believe that it was a UFO. Some people think it was a fire. Just the fact that at night this weird blurry picture that they took was of a light.
That's what they were trying to get a picture of.
Yeah, they obviously saw the glowing orbs.
Yeah.
And whoever had the camera last took that picture.
Yeah.
And also there were records of the pine trees in that area. They were burnt at the tops of them.
Oh, yeah, that's also a really weird-ass detail.
Super weird.
So...
And the local indigenous Mansi people had drawings of these orbs, along with testimonies of actually seeing them as well.
Crazy. Okay, so is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Alright, so...
I'm not saying what I think happened. I was just reporting.
What do you think happened?
I don't know. I think that they had a stove in their tent, and I think that something caught on fire inside the tent, which is why it was sliced open, because it started filling with smoke and they couldn't breathe, and they were getting ventilation. And the reason why that also might be why some of them had burn marks on them. And the reason why the footprints that led down into the forest were in a calm fashion were because smoke, it causes you to, like, act really slowly if you have too much smoke in your lungs and you're, like, you can't breathe. Mm-hmm. That's what I've heard. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, though. Like, I don't know about the tongue. I don't know
There's
about
so many weird
injuries,
details that have, like weird...
also, like, the reason why the first two bodies were practically naked were because the last victims were found with their clothing. So they took their clothes off of their dead bodies and put them on them. Oh. Which I forgot to read, but I wrote that down too. Okay. So, like, I don't know. It's still super weird. I still don't know, like...
Well, so, I guess my, I can't remember where or when I either read about this or I saw it on, fucking some program or TV show. But,
program.
I remember, I think it was like a show, well, it's like, it might have been on, like, Forensic Files or some shit, Mm-hmm. But I think it was a TV show because I remember there was, like, they had, like, a fucking medical doctor expert mm-hmm. testimony or whatever, and what they mention mostly is, like, a lot of it seems like basically what happens when you, like, become, like, freezing and hypothermic. You basically go insane, mm-hmm. and there's this thing called paradoxical undressing where you take mm-hmm. when you're freezing, you take off your clothes because your like brain makes your skin react in a way that you feel hot. You feel super hot, and so you take off your clothes because you feel super hot. And they think maybe that's like a lot. Like basically, a lot of people think that they just went insane from getting so cold, and they think they got so cold because they were like ill prepared, like they weren't expecting it to get as cold as it was. Or, like, there was, like, some, like, weird...
Well, because they had to get out of their tent so fast. Mm-hmm. That's why they didn't have boots on. That's why all their stuff...
Well, they think, like, they probably got... Like, everything happened because they got so cold inside their tent. And then, like, basically, like, you go crazy because you're just desperate to get warm and you do all these, like, crazy things. Like, apparently another thing is, like, people will try to, like, cram their bodies into, like, small, like cavities or like small spaces and stuff like that. Yeah. Like they can't really like fit into. Ew. Yeah, so they'll like get naked and like try to like get like, I don't know, under a rock or some shit like that. And so yeah, they think like, and then the burn marks, like they were trying to, and then the fire and stuff, like they were trying to like build fires and they were trying to like probably use their stove and like probably trying to like hug the fucking stove or like trying to like literally like get like a coal or something or an ember and like put it on their body like in an insane fashion, and probably burn themselves that way. And like, I have no idea why someone would fucking like get so freezing they'd cut their tongue out. Like, I don't know if that's a thing at all, but
there was no like weapon nearby her either.
And then I guess I think the radiation could probably be from like a lot of things. Like, it was only a few people, right? It was only a few of them.
There's a few articles of clothing
that had radiation.
And radiation is technically found on a lot of things. But this was just, the three just had extremely high amounts of radiation.
Yeah.
It was like 2 sweaters and a pair of pants.
Why the fuck? Why would they even test for that? That's a little weird.
That's weird, right?
Weird,
like, why are you even testing? That was another thing. Like, what are you doing, government?
Yeah. And, like, so, and then, yeah, that's another big thing is it's, like, it was close to this, it's, like, I'm sure the people in the tribe, the people who were camping, they all saw these, like, orbs or whatever that were probably just some, like, fucking rockets. It's, like, 59, mm-hmm. so it's, like, no one's used to seeing anything in the air. Mm-hmm. Other than planes, and like barely even that, mm-hmm. like commercial airlines are like pretty high, and
yeah, and I refuse to believe that aliens would harm people like this.
Well, yeah, and just like drop down into all these like do all this fucked up weird stuff, and like yeah, there's like all these things of like the people like hurting each other in like ways that like a human being couldn't or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that they're it's like supposed to be like you have to like factor in the temperature, you know, and like the state of a body at that temperature and like how it can like it succumbs to, you know, like damage in a different way. And, yeah, there's like, I don't know, all these like little scientific explanations for things that are like, okay, sure, yeah, but like no one knows exactly what happened. Like nobody knows exactly what happened, and there's like a huge mystery to it. A lot of it's pretty like, I feel like some of it you can explain away, like the paradoxical undressing and like I don't know, some of it, but not all of it. You know.
Yeah.
The like
that one girl with the tongue and like her head was bashed in and like.
And that could like I feel like that could have been from like, you know, one of the men or something like going insane and like maybe I don't know, but like
there was another theory too of like something went wrong, like there was like a sexual thing in the tent that happened, which is why they were naked and like why the girl got so messed up. Like there was some romantic issue going on.
That also could.
That was also discounted because the friends were just like such happy groups of people, right? And like nobody was like, yeah.
Shit, dude! Have you ever seen Cannibal Holocaust? Those people seemed nice on camera. You probably haven't seen that. It's terrible. Don't ever watch it.
It sounds bad.
It would. You're too. Well, no, you could take it, but I could
take it.
I don't want you to have to. I don't want you to have to undergo the change that movie puts people through. It's fucked up. Cannibal Holocaust.
That sounds like a bad name.
It's super fucked.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's gross. Anyways, yeah, good story.
Yeah.
Crazy story. I feel like it might have been like a culmination of like crazy, weird instances. Just a Yeti and alien and the Soviets teaming up to fuck on this.
That's a scary combo, man.
That's pretty scary. Yeah, I think there's this one movie called like, what's it called? It's called like The Mountain or The Ravine or something like that. And it's like loosely based on all this, where they're like camping and they find like a Soviet vault. With
Russia was actually pissed about that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like everyone knows about this case, and they were like pissed that it was loosely based off of it.
Yeah,
because it was so
wacko. Well, yeah, and it's so just like it's very like the Soviets are in like they did everything, and also Soviets are just mad always. I think.
Yeah.
Still, they're still just like we're still Soviets and we're angry. Babushka. Vodka.
Russia.
Vodka. So, what, did you say you had a personal story?
I got a personal story.
What does it do?
Well, so, most of the people that are going to be listening to this have probably already heard this. Because I live with you.
And we talk about aliens constantly.
Well, you know, sometimes. So I live out on this property just outside of Eugene with some good friends, and over the summer,
she lives in a tent.
Yeah, I was tenting it up, and
just so everyone knows.
Yep, and so I'm out in the woods, and the first time that I experienced something out there was this one night, and Jake was actually out there with me. So we were dead asleep. And it was probably around 2 or 3 in the morning. And we both get woken up by this insanely loud sound that's coming just down the hill from where my tent is. And it sounds so close. And we both bolt up out of bed, and we're looking at each other, and our jaws are open, and we're terrified from the sound. And it sounds like...
Malin's drunk and has a gun.
It wasn't Malin. And it sounds like this bird this like robotic chirping bird that is being put over a loudspeaker.
The fuck?
Like, that's the best way I can describe it. And, I mean, Jake, it was going on for about a minute straight. It was about a minute straight. And it was so loud that I think either Fox or Jocelyn heard it down at the house, too. I talked to them about that morning.
Like, yeah. It was that loud, you'd think you'd hear it anywhere on the property, pretty much.
Yeah, it was so loud. And Jake's like, is that a squirrel? Like, you know, and I'm like, it's definitely not a squirrel. It's definitely not a screech owl, because I looked into what those sound like. It was not an owl. And it wasn't even really like a bird. I say bird like a, because it was like an organic, like, chirping. But it was more, it was just this, it's this, like, really high frequency.
And it was really loud. Yeah, what was really the initial sound like? What did it sound like? What, like the thing that woke you up? Did it sound like
that? Was it?
It was just chirping.
It sounded like
an alarm almost.
Yeah, kind of. And it just was down, just, you know, towards the greenhouse. I'm just like up on this hill.
Were you guys coming off of any hallucinogens?
No.
Okay, well, it's fair to ask, I think.
No. And so it like, and then after about a minute of it just doing its thing, it went away. It sounded like it just went up and flew away really fast. It was just like whoosh, and it went over towards the bomb shelter. And Dan was asleep in his tent over in that night near the bomb shelter. And so that next morning I'm getting up and I'm getting ready for work. I'm in the kitchen making coffee, and Dan walks in. And I was like, dude, I heard a freaking alien last night. And he was like, oh, yeah, I, like, saw something last night. And I was like, what? You know, and I told him what I had heard. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, well, I didn't hear anything. But he said that he, like, this is what I'd have to, like, re-ask him. But pretty sure he said he was just, like, sleeping. And then he just, like, woke up. And he said it looked like it was light out in the front of his tent. Like, he couldn't see outside, but, like, where he was facing, it looked bright, and the rest of it was, like dark.
It was, like, daytime almost?
But only in the part he was looking at.
Weird.
And he said he saw that, and then he was like, no. And then he, like, went back to bed.
Rolls over.
And so, I thought that was really weird, because I swear, like, I heard it fly over towards that way, you know? And Dan doesn't, like, you know how Dan is. He's not gonna, like, I don't know.
Embellish or shit up.
Yeah, exactly. And so I thought that was really interesting. And then so that night I was like, did you guys hear the alien? You know, I was talking to everyone in the house, and I think it was either Jocelyn, I think it was Todd who said that he heard it that first time. And then Matt and I were talking, and Matt said that, like, other people who had lived out there have seen things, have seen orbs. Like, there's been a couple people that have seen, like, some glowing things. There was another time, and it happened, like, 2 months later. Mm-hmm. And I was, of course, alone in the tent, which made it a million times worse. Mm-hmm. But I woke up. It was about 3:30. I looked at my phone. Mm-hmm. And it was the same exact sound. And I know that it was, because I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It came back, and it sounded like it went down to that same spot, just down the hill. And this time it was there for like 2 hours.
Whoa.
And I couldn't sleep because...
Why didn't you go check it out?
Because I was terrified.
When was this last time?
It was like a month or two ago.
Crazy.
And it was pitch black. Like, I'm not gonna, like, fucking open up... I'm not gonna unzip that thing and, like, look, because I'm too scared to find out. Like, another reason that I know that I was so terrified is because, like, I don't recognize this sound, and I felt afraid, you know. I didn't think it was gonna, like, come hurt me or anything, but I was, like, scared of the unknown. Uh-huh. And it would stop. So, like, the first time, it was just, like, a minute straight of it just making that sound, and then it flew away. But this time, it would do it for, like, 10 or 15 seconds, and then stop, and then it would happen again, like, after 5 minutes.
Straight up.
But it did it for 2 hours.
A big, loud bird.
Yeah. So I was unable to sleep.
Like a crane or like a herring or something.
I don't know what the hell that thing was. But this time, also, I could hear, and I was like, I was telling myself theories as to what was happening so that I wouldn't be so terrified the entire time.
Like that it's a big bird?
I was telling myself it was something down in the greenhouse. Some electrical thing was, like, going haywire.
Yeah.
Because that was the only thing that made my heart stop pounding. But in between the shrill, like, bird frequencies, I could hear this, like, mechanical, this, like, really quiet mechanical, like, whirring sound. It just sounded like something was running. And I didn't recognize it. Like, I sleep up there all the time and I never hear the sound.
Crazy.
And so finally around, like, 5, which is when I had to, like, get up for work, it was gone. And I was like, and it started to get light out and I was like, I'm just gonna, like, see what it is now. And then it wasn't there anymore. It was just gone.
Weird.
And that time, Malin had heard it, and Jimmy had heard it, but Malin and Jimmy was like, it's a screech owl. Like, it was not a screech owl. And Malin thought it was something in the greenhouse. And I think that time Jocelyn said that she heard it too, and she actually got up out of bed and went outside to listen to it better, but she couldn't tell what it was.
Crazy. Sounds like it's probably a bird.
But it would only be a nocturnal bird.
Yeah.
Which is what? An owl.
There's a lot of other nocturnal birds. And then there's also, like, you know what you could do is, like, I don't know how, they're probably too expensive to even consider this, but they have those, like, motion activated, like, wilderness cameras,
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. Part of me doesn't want to know.
If it's super loud, you could probably just, like, turn on, like, the video or the recorder on your phone and, like, get it that way.
I thought about it the second time. I was going to, but I was, in that moment, I was just so terrified that I didn't want to make a fucking sound. I was just frozen in my bed for those 2 hours.
That's pretty funny and scary and...
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying it was an alien, but I like to say it's an alien. You want it to be an alien. I like to say that aliens come out there and hang out.
Nice. Real quick, this story that I read online, I don't even know if it's true, probably though, is like this guy camping in like a camper, and he had like a camper in his truck or whatever, or like, or like an RV Winnebago thing. And he was like camping in this spot in the woods, and he said like he heard like this thing like hit the roof of his Winnebago like really hard, and then like start just like scratching it, and just like he could just like hear like nails like scratching against it, and it just sounded fucking terrifying.
No.
And you'd hear it kind of just like scratch a little bit and then kind of like skitter around and then scratch some more, and then it would stop.
Was that night?
Yeah, and you would hear like this like crazy like loud whooshing sound, like this like wind or something. And he said it was happened at night, and he said it happened like a few times, and then it would just terrify him because he's out there alone, and he like said he'd like, it's probably like a fucking bird, but like there's no way it could be that loud, or like what kind of bird could like make it sound like they're about to like scratch through the metal and shit like that. And he said one time he just went out there, and it was just an owl, and it was just like it liked to take its kills. It would like catch a mouse or a snake and drop it on the RV and then like kill it there. So it was just making all this fucking racket in the middle of the night where it's super quiet. And I thought that was kind of worth mentioning because
I thought it was a bird. But it might be a bird, but also I listened to different sounds that nocturnal birds make, and nothing sounded like the same thing. This sounded like it was being played over speakers. I'm not kidding. Like, it was so loud.
And it sounded far, like kind of far
close
away.
It sounded like it was 15 feet away from my tent.
Crazy. Weird. So you couldn't even poke your head out?
No.
Jeez.
I was so afraid.
Oh my god.
Another thing, this happened to me a couple weeks ago, actually. I had to pee, And so I was out, and it was pitch black, and I was, like, looking up at the stars as I'm peeing, and all of a sudden, there's, like, a flash in the sky. And it was just really quick. It was like lightning. And I was like, whoa, that was weird. Was that lightning? And I didn't hear any thunder. And I didn't see the source of it or anything. Uh-huh. It was just like, real quick, a flash just lit up the entire sky.
Crazy. And
then I was like, okay, back to bed.
Yeah.
Freaked me out.
Maybe there's some fucking crazed, like, scientists doing crazy experiments.
Dude, there are tons of weird sounds out there all the time.
I'm sure it's, like, a lot of, like, large, like, expanses of land, and then just, like, people, like, different people doing different weird shit.
Who knows what.
Yeah. Crazy. Alright. Well, good story. Is there, like, a name for that story that you...
Which one?
The Soviet
it's called
one?
The Dyatlov Pass case.
Dyatlov.
Dyatlov Pass.
Okay.
Dyatlov.
Okay. Death Mountain.
Or Dead Mountain.
Dead Mountain.
That's what the Manzi people call it.
Scary. Yeah, so don't fuck around in places where people are like, yeah, we don't go there, locals don't go there.
Don't hike places with the words death or dead.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do anything near, like, frickin' anything near any sort of military testing.
Definitely
site.
not.
Like, even if, like, you're allowed to be there, don't do it. Be very well prepared when you're camping and stuff and going out into the woods and things of that nature.
Be safe.
Be safe. Memorize bird calls and, like, bird sounds, and also bird law.
Bird law.
Yeah, get up to snuff on bird law. What do you want to do for the next episode? I don't know. We could do, like...
Urban legends?
Urban legends. I was thinking, like, historic legends. I'd really like to do episode, or, like, do a story about Sonny Bean. Do you know who Sonny Bean is?
No.
Crazy person. Crazy story.
This is a historic legend?
Yeah.
What is a historic legend?
It's just, like, it's like a...
like Sasquatch?
No, more like, I guess maybe like, what's his name? Jack the Ripper might be one, because, well, I guess he actually did kill people, but, like, this is more like, like, Sonny Bean was like, it happened in, like, the 1500s or the 1600s, so, like, no one's sure if it was, like, super embellished or if it's just a legend, but it's like...
Yeah, I got one.
I got one.
I definitely got one.
Oh, yeah. There's, like, a lot of good ones out there. Mm-hmm. Just, like, weird.
This one's based off of what people think The Hills Have Eyes was based off of.
That's this one!
Are you serious?
Yeah. You have to get a different one.
I don't think it's this...
It is the same one. The Hills Have Eyes was only based off of one thing, yes.
Oh, snap!
You don't even know the name of the guy.
Well, it was a whole bunch. It was a family.
Sonny Bean was, like, the matriarch. Now we're just telling the story.
All right, sorry. Woo! Okay. You can edit that out.
Yeah. All right. No. So we're never gonna tell the story of Sonny Bean. Just look it up. No, but that's a good one.
All right. Well,
but there's other stuff like that out
there.
There's so much other stuff like that out there. Just like crazy massacres or like gross weird stuff that that we don't know, like, totally. Modern stuff is based on, I had no idea that those movies were based on anything like that.
I hate knowing that. I really do. Those movies terrify me.
They're pretty scary. Wrong turn on the left, on the last house on the left. Wrong turn alive.
Yeah.
Of the hills.
Haunted house on the hill.
On the eyes.
Cool.
Dope. Episode 3 in the bag.
Down 3. Number 3.
We did it. Well, you did your story and then I talked to it.
Yeah. You knew it too.
I knew it.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess until next time, Mob fam.
Hell yeah.
You can set your pitchforks down now. If you think the coast is clear.
Oh, man. That would be adorable if there were pitchforks.
We'll get just some merch.
Little plastic merch pitchforks. But they'd have to be like farmer pitchforks, not like devil pitchforks. That's specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
You can donate to our Patreon. No.
Yeah, just please listen to anything we do.
We just love all of you.
We love it.
And we love you too, aliens. Okay, bye!
Bye!